Here.
Oh,
There we go.
oh,
This is dumb. We're dumb. We're trying to figure it out. So, to the spirits out there and to all of you, salute. Hi. It's me. It's me and Marie. I'm Bloody Mary in New Orleans, and our special guest today is.
KJ.
It's really funny. Like the last one I did
Uh-huh.
was with MJ.
Oh, yes.
So now I have to find an LJ.
Okay.
Because I don't know where this is going. But
Okay.
you know, I didn't grow up with knowing you
Right.
as a KJ, but I know you are now.
Yes.
Do you want to share why? Because it's really funny. Or do you hate it? She doesn't want to tell you
I
why.
hate it.
Okay, well, never mind. But she's a Mambo. What's your Mambo name?
Oh,
Do you have a name that you would like to be called spiritually?
gosh, no, just little old me would be
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Well, both of us are Mambo Asagways in the same Haitian voodoo house here in New Orleans. She is also a psychic medium who prefers automatic writing as her choice.
Mhm.
I do automatic writing as well, but I do a lot of different methods. And I'm also a Mambo, and I'm also Yaya. And I'm also a Voodoo Queen in New Orleans Voodoo tradition, which is a title. And the Queen of Queens is right under our feet right here because we're in the homestead, the old homestead of Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau. So we always invite her in spiritually, and all the spirits here open the way. Kekila, lekpa. Open the way. I will give a few drops of water here and some perfumes. And later we'll give them some rum. But we always salute the spirits and ask them to be a part of it because I want to get Marie Laveau's input on some of the things in history that may need to fill in the blank, to color the edges, to figure it all out. So we're going to do that with a variety of methods. So we're going to do seance, ghost hunts, automatic writing, of course, research,
Yes.
which I've done for 20, 30 years, intense research and helped with academics. We both helped on academics, research historic characters in town. We both did tours. We both did ghost hunts. I do voodoo paranormal because of a voodoo priestess and a ghost hunter, though I hate that word. So do you, because you incorporate some of the things spiritually that you learned in voodoo. What was your biggest, I guess, different outlook when you got into voodoo? Because you did ghost hunting first.
Right.
Was there any major change that you felt within when you started to look at it with voodoo eyes?
Boy, that's a really good question.
Oops, I forgot to go live over here. We're just live everywhere to be going. So anyway, you can answer that question while I play with the technology because I didn't push all the buttons.
Okay. So the question.
So hi, we're in New Orleans. Hello. Sorry.
So the question is, did initiating voodoo affect my ghost hunting at all, or help the ghost hunting?
Yeah,
What's the new perspective?
Right.
That's a
and
great
this is
question.
KJ, and this is Bloody Mary, and we're in New Orleans, in the home of Marie Laveau, talking about spirit talks and afterlives.
You know, I think after initiating into voodoo, it made the ghost hunting. I don't know if this makes sense. More of a deeper experience of understanding even more why spirits are still here. There's so many different reasons why they're still here. But also to have a new understanding of different type of spirit besides, like my grandmother used to call the earthbound. Yeah, the earthbound spirits like ghosts. We have spirits that are here to heal.
Ascended masters, sometimes they're called. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like it kind of opened up a whole new door of different types of spirits that I wasn't focusing on before, or even really realized before.
And I think too many people focus on what they think are stuck or earthbound because I think a lot of them choose to come. And stay, or go back and forth because I don't think it's so here or there. It's very fluid.
Yes, indeed. So I think I have a broader perspective now, I guess, since initiating into voodoo.
And do you, I always try to give them a gift, give them food. I treat them with a nice bedside manner which isn't always part of, let's say, the regular ghost hunters.
Right.
Who are very happy into hashtag it's a demon, you know, which, you know, oh God, you know, and I always said, you know, why is it so damn easy to get a day pass out of hell, but you can't leave at heaven? You know, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
If you want to think of the either or kind of placement, why do they get to get out and go mess around and everybody else get there, you know? So
yeah.
Just didn't seem fair.
Right.
But how many stories do you hear about grandma coming and talking to somebody if they, you know, to get them up and get out of the house, and then there was a fire, and then you know, the helpful spirits that are following people. So I think fear is a 4-letter word, and though I like horror movies, I don't let them influence me. And people believe that Hollywood movies are fact. It's just crazy what some people believe. It's like, you're not going to be pulled by the hair down the hall. And if you are, that costs extra. You know, because it's just not what usually happens. But people think that. People really believe that. Or they're like, you live in this haunted house? It's like, yeah. And all the haunted houses in the French Quarter, which are many, 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 people live in them. You know, you learn to set boundaries, you learn to get along. If you don't, I guess you get out. But I would never, you know, some of these shows have people come in and say, tell them to move. It's like, no, this is your house. So you set the boundaries, do what you have to do, help them if you can, let them help you if they can. We got karmic points that they need. But yeah, I would, don't move. You know, I suppose there's some extreme circumstances, but I think even that can be quieted down. So, you know,
I think we all just learned to live together. You know, I've got about 6 of them in my house.
6,
but they're all very nice. We all get along really well. So,
and shameless plug, Dauphine House B&B in New Orleans in the Treme, just 1 block from the French Quarter, belongs to Miss Karen here. You can look up, what's your URL?
It's dauphinehouse.com. And that's spelled like the street.
DAUPHINE.
House.
We have, I guess, different words here with a early French background. But, you know, some of the people in France didn't understand what the people here were saying, just like the people in the city of New Orleans didn't always understand what the Cajuns were saying. Different dialects, patois. And much of the language in town was called gumbo French, you know, which makes sense. And recently, using certain equipment and having people come in, we have been getting more French come through. Or in language I don't understand kind of thing. It's like, I think I asked, is it gumbo French? And it's like, I think so. You know, like the spirits were agreeing with that on a blind testing of Ghost Box Chronicles. But we did the first official, I guess. Well, I did a lot of setups of the altars in here, which of course included rituals, ritual setting up and feeding and nurturing and gathering and all that. But then we did Seance in here. And I'm going to put that out on YouTube. Hopefully by Thursday, I'm going to start editing tonight. Some of those things are taking longer to edit than I thought. And I have a picture up front of the setup of the seance. Now, in this particular seance, we did not do the spiritualist style that I do weekly at my museum. It's somewhere in between a typical spiritualist ceremony and what's called a misa in a lot of other Latin Catholic areas. And remember, people, we were a Latin Catholic area before we were American, and even through that time, trying to maintain our own identity. So we had spiritism and spiritualism that was going on here. But specifically in New Orleans, there was something called parterre. Parterre means on the ground. So using a white square cloth on the ground with the 4 corners of candles and offerings is the style that Marie Laveau did. Plus, it's closer to the ground, you know, so that was part of it as well. Putting offerings on the table, and we sat around it. So you'll get some videos of that. When I do my other spiritualist or spiritist, it's up on a table, sitting around and holding hands. Now, a misa is usually a white table, kind of like the white cloth, some water, some flowers, some other things across on the table, and a medium/controller on one side and another medium with like an audience, and they all participate too. So we did a combination, but more old school New Orleans. And many said that what Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau did was Voodoo Seance. And if you don't know who Marie Laveau is, she was born allegedly in this house, a house that used to be here. 1801, died here for sure, 1881. So all of you better tune in on YouTube right after June 15th, because we're going to come back and do a new seance. And that was the day that she died, or in other words, it's the day she ascended. So it's kind of like her Saints Day. So to be in the house on that day will be very interesting to see what pops up. But we did a seance the other night, and we did tape some of it. It's in the dark, but we channeled. And did you get anything follow up on that when you went home, or any dreams or any thoughts?
No, just I really enjoyed doing the automatic writing during it.
Okay.
And then the group writing.
Right. I've been doing that for dozens of years. Yes. Yeah. That we all kind of participate in a group session and write what the spirits are channeling through us, and then just continue to write what the other person did and go on and around and around. But from what I hear, you went home and you did automatic writing on your own, right? So we're going to share that more on this video when it comes out Thursday night. Just to prove I'm not lying, this is it. But I think we're going to save it so that you will go to Bloody Mary New Orleans on YouTube, my channel. I have got to get some watch hours. I opened the Haunted Museum. I wrote apps and books and so many things, and kind of stepped back from YouTube for a little while. And I spent a lot of time on TikTok. So on TikTok, I'm Bloody Mary Nola. Nola is New Orleans, Louisiana. Nola. So Bloody Mary, Nola, but Bloody Mary New Orleans spelled out one word for TikTok. Please join. I already put several things up and some shorts on there. And many of these types of lives that I'm calling the afterlives are going to be like a podcast too. So I've got a lot of ideas. I'm just trying to form them out, but we're definitely doing it here. We have all kind of altars that I have pictured in some of those videos, I think, or at least on TikTok. I'll bring that into a full YouTube as well. I have different people that have come in, a specialty architect that came in, a local historic architect. I have you. I have an English paranormal girl that just left a whole week of different types of investigations, including the Estes method. Have you ever done the Estes method?
I've seen it on TV and just fascinated by it. So.
Well, we definitely, and I have a whole video out on the Estes method. Did you see that one yet?
I did see that one.
Okay.
That was great.
So it's a spirit box, which is generally, in case you don't know, some form of radio device that the tuner is adjusted so it doesn't land and it keeps flowing. One of the theories is that the spirits talk on a radio wave that kind of floats over it. Other theories say they use pieces of radio, probably a little bit of both. But in the Estes method, it's a blind method because you have noise canceling headphones on one person, and another person across the way is asking the questions, but the person answering or telling you what he's hearing doesn't know what the questions are. Right. So most of them had an intelligent response. Yes. I think it was done really well. I got a few little interesting hints on what to do here to nurture it right, just as I did in the seance as well. So we're going to put that, being in it was really cool. I don't know if I should edit it down to make it shorter for everyone, but you have moments of spirits coming through that you did direct channel, moments of visions that were being described, lots of cold spots and things that were going on the physical plane that you won't be able to necessarily react to. But we definitely have done it once, and then we try to do it again. The first one was much more intense than the second one is. Yeah. But the third one will be on June 15th with Yaya, co-priestess of mine who was at the other one, and Andrea, and she will be here, and another local psychic who was on one of my first afterlives, the Secret Tarot woman will be there. So we'll have at least those four, but keep it limited. Great. Leave it live. We'll not be able to read the questions, but I can answer them later somehow in a talk show like this. So we're not going to tell you this, but we're going to say, please, please, please join my YouTube. And you guys, please, please, please join my TikTok. And I can marry the two with little snippets and little shorts and lives back and forth. So this one is going to be a couple of days later on YouTube because I'm going to edit in the seance with it. But I wanted to say hi on TikTok because I've been spending so much time over the last 2 years, probably since the end of COVID, starting to get into TikTok, learning how to master that. And I haven't mastered it yet because I have to have a deep spiritual cleansing and connection with the algorithm. You know, I'm gonna make it mine. You know, I gotta do that because you know, the combination of community standard nonsense and not understanding certain algorithms. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's personal, so I gotta talk to that dude.
Okay.
Mr. Al. You know, we gotta get Al on my side. I'm gonna do a honey spell on Al, and I'm gonna use this. This. Do you know what this is? It's a big one too. No. Yeah, this is the raccoon penis bone. Mm-hmm. It's to help you get paid and laid. I don't know how to do all the stuff I tried last time to let somebody in. Can you understand? So I can't because I don't know how to do it right. But anyway, this is one of the biggest raccoon penis bones I've got. And they say to get paid and laid for fertility, for growth, but it's also for sexual. It can be a little bit for sexual control. Okay. So if Al knows what's good for it. Al will fall in love with me and Bloody Mary Nola on and not mess with my algorithm. You know, it's just some things you don't think you have control over, but I suppose you could try to do some persuasion in that form. Spirits are all in the same areas that all this other stuff is floating around in, radio waves, microwave, all that. They're all together. And there's manipulation and transformation and things that we do through there. So, you know, might be able to get one with the algorithm from a magical perspective. I just don't know. Other than that, we use this. I am not sponsored by these people yet, but I love this. This is Florida water. It cools you down and it's damn hot. It calls spirits, it removes spirits. I mean, it does everything. I've literally been bathed in this my entire life. Yeah. My grandmother dunked me in this when I was a baby. Yeah. It was my favorite smell and has a very long sense memory for me. And everybody in New Orleans uses it. It has so many different essences in it that it appeases a lot of spirits. So you do have to direct it. Since something that's called twisting, when you can use it for, let's say, good or bad or banishing or, attracting, you have to be able to tweak it, or else, when you're trying to call something with it, you don't want to focus on the banishing part because it's just like counterproductive. But when something's twisting, you better be able to direct it. In fact, you have to direct all herbs and things that you use or else they'll go on their own way unless you're very clear with it. Okay. Because many scents or things in nature do more than one thing. So you've got to be it. Right. So we're going to talk about a few other things, but I'm going to say goodbye to TikTok for a little while. And somebody gave me a little devil thing. Help me beat Al up. Make Al fall in love. You beat him into submission so my numbers rise and I don't get any community standard flags. I mean, it's for the silliest things sometimes. I don't know what it was the other day. I kept looking in there's like nothing. Nothing that would be weird. So, Anyway, I am going to turn this off for now, but I will see y'all later. I might have another guest later and do another live if I can get my Dylan. So he's going to be a headliner psychic coming in. We can always make appointments with Miss Karen or Miss Me when you're in town. Miss Bloody Mary. Miss Me. That's me. And I'm going to see if I can put that off. There you go. I'm going to try to turn that off because I don't know if it really went on. Anyway, the rest of you don't care about all that. I'm going to try to give people a reason to look at the whole thing on YouTube and Facebook. And I forgot to mention Facebook. So please join my Facebook. I have the Bloody Mary Tours Haunted Museum and Voodoo Shop, as well as just Bloody Mary's Tours. I have Voodoo Queen. I have my NOLA Paracon. I have a festival coming up June 23rd weekend. I do the June 23rd Voodoo baptisms every year, old Marie Laveau style. Will like dunk you down in the bayou, gators and all. You even saw the gator pop up last year if you look on my YouTube. I called him in at the end and he came right up to the seawall to get food and to be part of the ritual. And I work with gator magic as well as the raccoon magic. I do not have a gator penis bone, but I do have the raccoon penis bone. Everybody's got a raccoon penis bone in their culture, you know? I don't know why they became so darn popular. I mean, moonshiners use them to work. Oh yeah, the work of the still. They stick it at the end so it drips down and then goes between that little tiny area that it looks good in your hat. So musicians wore them a lot, but that was also to make sure they got paid. And the prostitutes always had them under the bed to keep the customers happy. And if somebody wanted to make sure they were always at attention, this was also good for the male and for fertility. So he got the focused on was the raccoon, you know. But I love me some gator, and I work with gator magic left and right. So I have all kinds of gator bones, but I've never run into that one, which is interesting. I'm sure they have it, right? You know?
Isn't it ridiculous? I can't really say for sure.
Of course they have to. Maybe they don't have a bone. Most everything has a bone except humans in their junk.
Yeah.
You know, but
we're gonna have to Google that.
I've got literally 2 huge, garbage cans full of stray gator bones that I got from the old farm a few years back that I do art and gree with. Because you use animal, vegetable, mineral matter, and here the king of the swamps, of course, was the gator. So I work with a lot of dirts because swamp magic is mud magic. I work with the gator. I work with the crawfish. I work with all the things that here, different trees, the oak, the cypress, the elderberry, all the swamp vegetation, and the swamp spirits like the gator and the snake, and all the other fun ones. And there was a lot of raccoons. Europeans didn't know what raccoons were when they got here.
Oh my!
They thought they were big cats. So there's this island not far away that they named Cat Island because it was so overrun with raccoons.
And that's why they call it Cat Island.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that.
They had a big ass fat cat, you know, and they hadn't seen him before. So but it's fun. But it worked, I guess. Hold on, I'm gonna cut that for a minute. Start to get it like smaller pieces. And I'm going to come back. I'm trying to figure out getting some new cameras, getting some better lighting, gonna get other helpers. So we're still in the testing zone of this. I got this place as an extended office to write my book about New Orleans swamp magic and Marie Laveau style and the spirit of Marie Laveau. So I needed to be kind of away from the museum and away from my house. So I had some quiet time and so that I could channel an automatic type. I can automatic write. And I did a little bit of automatic writing in my other book, Haunting Sorrows and Dancing of the Dead. Yeah. I kind of cheated, but it wasn't really cheating. What I did was there was a program. I'm not getting paid by this sponsor. Dragon, was it Naturally Speak? It was like you speak into it, it types it for you.
Oh, yes.
And it was pretty good. I mean, you have to sometimes go back and redo things. And the first one I got wasn't great. The second time I got it was really, really good. However, I get tired of talking and writing, and I get up and go in the room, make a cup of tea or something, come back, and they write something. There'd be like a sentence or two, and I was like, all right. Whoa. A couple of times I left it in there. I was like, well, that works. Just like it wasn't like a significant change to the story. It was just kind of like, well, where did that come from? It's neither here nor there what it's saying, or some of it was like, okay, that connects these together. Okay. So I left them in there. Yeah. I thought it was cool. It was a weird way of automatic writing. It's very similar to the concept of radio voice and ITC communication through radio. So, and there was no one else in the house that would have spoken those words. Wow. At the time that I was doing it was up in a locked room and no one else there. So that happened on about 5 different occasions. That sometimes it was just a couple of words, sometimes a full sentence. That I was like, all right.
But that'd be fun for ghost hunting.
I'm gonna see what goes on for this. I mean, and I could just leave it in here running as well as having some of the nanny cams in place to see what goes on. I stayed here the other night because I don't live here, but I can. And I'm going to stay here at least once or twice a week to kind of connect deeper as well as write during the day and, and have guests of different fields, occult authorities, let's say, different traditions of people to come in and some locals as well. I kind of like the idea of people not knowing as much about Marie Laveau
Right.
when they come in. So most of the locals have their definite opinion,
Yeah.
good or bad,
Right.
right or wrong.
Right. And then just to see what they pick up on, not knowing.
There's a lot of wrong out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
American Horror Story wasn't any helper in that
No.
fact. You know?
When they didn't have to do that.
No,
They
no,
could
they
have
did.
stuck to the truth.
They could have stuck to the truth and made it be kind of interesting, though. I mean, they had to Hollywoodize it to make it match the script a little bit, but they didn't have to go back to bring voodoo back 25, 35 years to making somebody in voodoo a baby killer and all this other kind of nonsense. That was not necessary.
Yeah.
And there are people that talk about it like that's true. Not true.
Mm-hmm.
She had many children. Many of them died. The infant mortality rate here was horrific.
Mm-hmm.
She had some that, many that came to adulthood. She was, working in the yellow fever ranks as a nurse,
Right.
probably while pregnant in a lot of cases because she had a lot of children.
Right.
And it was just a really rough area. We had the highest mortality rate in North America. No one ever said that she killed her children in life.
Right.
Other people that started to talk bad about voodoo would always go with the, baby killing or whatever else they say, devil worshiping, kissing the bottom of a goat. But everybody knows it's the bottom of a bull. I mean, come on, it's not a goat.
I get the two confused.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a better aim. It's much bigger.
Well,
and, the goats can kick you easier. But no. They always say things when one religion is not the dominant religion, and certainly after the Civil War, people had a totally different look about voodoo than they did before.
Right.
Here, at least. Before, they didn't know anything. But here you could see it at Congo Square across the way. You could come knock on this door right here to say hello to Marie Laveau in the middle of the night to get help from your love issues, from your physical healing, spiritual healing, court matters, whatever she did.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody dabbled in an aspect of it, but there was just so much hatred here at the turn of the 19th to the 20th century.
Yeah.
With the one-drop law and the American takeover and everything, it was really rough.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of problems. So things that were accepted and understood and actually even sought after before that went way in the closet, including our gumbo French, which they made illegal to speak. So, you could only speak it to each other in the house. So, of course, it did get lost. Now the Cajuns, which was a different French, way out, way out in the swamps. And it wasn't just the Cajun. There were many different isolated peoples who had languages, different versions of French way out that might have stayed alive just because people weren't pressuring or seeing them as much. And they were all a small knit community. But in the city, which was big money in the day, they didn't want to teach it in school. They wanted that you could be arrested, you could be fined, you'd be kicked out. I mean, you had a lot of issues. And it's kind of, we see a lot of changes going on right now, even still around the same thing. But the part of our languages and customs went in the closet. It went in the closet a little bit, or hoodoo did, but it was still available. It became a little dusted off and cleaned up, and you could go to the pharmacy, right?
Right.
And you could get your love potion number 9.
Right.
You might be able to get a penis bone. I don't know.
Maybe.
You would buy your salts. What else do I have here? We can have a total different discussion. But anyway, a lot of times when you have a seance, you're asked to bring something of the person to connect with them.
Right.
So in my case, I brought us to the thing instead of the thing to us. I brought the whole place here.
Yeah.
So I have, we're on the soil and on the old foundation. I'm trying to grow things in the back courtyard and bring all that in and use the dusts. But this is different. This is a whole show in itself. Yeah. Do you have a take? Do you ever do a research? Do you care about goofer dust?
I am not aware. I've heard of the term, but I don't know much about it at all.
Okay, that's just a term that maybe not everybody uses now. There's been such substitutes for it. It's Graveyard dirt.
Graveyard
is that easier
dirt.
for me to
Okay,
say
I've
than you?
heard that, yeah.
Graveyard. But you don't use it.
I haven't used it, huh?
I wonder if it's a good back scratch. It's not quite big enough. They never heard
A little bit.
graveyard dirt,
Yeah.
connects you with the spirits of dead. So that would be very much with the Gede family
Okay.
as far as the spirits in voodoo. So
Right.
there's the Loas, and there's the ancestors, and there's the nature spirits, and then there's the dead. So this would be a little piece of that, you might say.
Okay.
So there are all kinds of things I had here that I just pulled out.
Right.
If you had, let's say, dust from your ancestor's grave,
Yeah.
then that you can bring
Definitely
that
bring that,
to
yeah.
a seance.
Mm-hmm.
If you have their ashes, hey,
You're right.
then you bring a small container of that. That's
Okay.
even more direct.
Okay.
If they weren't cremated, all of you should have a connection, something that belonged to your
Right.
ancestors. But if you do go to their tomb, it is considered good to grab some of the earth,
Okay.
so you can at least
Yeah.
have that. If you can't always visit their tomb, especially if they're in another state, when you do go, take it with you.
Okay.
A small jar will be fine,
Uh-huh.
from the four corners of the tomb.
Okay.
And
Right.
then you can put it on your altar next to their picture,
Uh-huh.
or when you go to a seance, or when you call me. So
Right.
that'll help you. I mean, they're always in your bloodline
Right.
anyway, but that makes it grounded,
Mm-hmm.
be able to come easier to
Right.
talk to you, because we have to develop a whole different relationship with our ancestors once they're gone. They're still there.
Mm-hmm.
They still have a responsibility and a love to watch out for their family to a point.
Uh-huh.
And you have a responsibility to them too, to pray and help them on their journey, and a big responsibility to those not yet born that are still to come ahead, which are still ancestors.
Okay.
So there are different ways that you connect that whole string, the ones
Right.
before, the ones this, and of course, you
Right.
in the now. It could be ancestors, it could be friends and family, which we call God family in
Mhm.
voodoo.
Okay.
So you have another family that you
Yes.
find here on earth.
Yeah.
And then your people in your house, which
Mhm.
is like what witches would call a coven.
Mm-hmm.
In voodoo, you want to have a connection with them and with others. So I just had some goofer dust that I was bottling up here, so I thought I'd pull out a few show and tell things. I also have another thing that you should always bring with you on ghost hunting, maybe have handy on seance, is of course salt.
Mm-hmm.
Salt is for the human, the salt of the earth. Salt will bring you right back. You get too
Mhm.
heavily in trance and
Yeah.
you can't come back, I make you eat a little salt.
Yeah.
Or we put Florida water all over you, which we do all the time in voodoo, in
Right.
trance dance and
Yeah.
such, because to have the spirit enter you and be part of you and talk through you is the goal of many voodoo rituals. It's not Linda Blair possession, but there's a form of trance dance possession, which can make you kind of get out of body, because that's when they jump in and then you're off somewhere talking to the big guys. But then to bring you back, a lot of people use Florida water, but if you really need to ground, salt. I say carry salt with you on ghost hunts, because it grounds you. It's so simple
Yeah.
to have. Too.
Yeah.
You could just carry it. Small packages, a nice, good, bloody, rare steak works too. If you're really hit in between the worlds, which
Yeah.
I get more when I'm in an area where I find I've had past life, or there's a
Oh.
lot of heavy and maybe, intense
Right.
residual energy where lots of people died or lots of
Right.
people were sick, and you could just feel that sickness.
Yeah.
You need the salt to
Mhm.
grip. But on the other hand, a very holy site has kicked me on my ass.
Yeah.
One of the most intense sights I got was the very first time walking in Notre Dame. I mean, I practically fell on the floor and
Really?
could not get up. Took me hours to get back. I was
Wow.
connecting with the layers and layers of rituals that were there previously. Plus, I know I had a past life in Paris. I probably did not know at that moment that I
Right.
did, but I mean, I was just like,
Wow.
hold on to me.
Right. Right.
And in voodoo, we call it getting tipsy.
Mhm.
When you're starting to feel the spirit. Well, I was outright drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, from that spirit. And I was like, whoa, I can't walk. I can't do anything. I'm a big traveler to sacred sites to
Yeah.
feel the energies, to connect with the spirits. And
Uh-huh.
through that desire and connection and meeting people all over the world, they all had so many different beliefs about spirits,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
if they would talk about it at all,
Right.
you know, because they aren't into it as much as us. So it was interesting to do that comparison. And I accidentally, on purpose, bumped into the ghost of my own past life.
Oh my goodness.
So
Oh my
that is
goodness.
a heavy duty version of soul retrieval. Because it's
That's
a piece
a
of you
whole
that's
episode
here.
in itself. I wanna hear about that. And
There's
this
a
was in
piece of you
Paris?
here and one in Paris, one or two in Paris. Well, one in Paris and one in other parts of France, which I think were two separate ones, and once in Italy as well.
Wow.
And then I've met some other people that have known me in past life. And I was like, oh yeah, I was there not long ago. And I got hit and he goes, I knew you. It was the same little town. And
Oh my goodness.
yeah, so it's interesting. So you embrace those pieces of you, because those pieces of you are also spirit guides, because you have to listen to the knowledge of the past and not be dragged down by the traumas
Right.
of the past, of you or your ancestors. It doesn't help anyone to feel and relive their trauma. You have to spring them forward through your empowerment and learning.
Right.
But to to be able to re-embrace that piece of yourself is like retrieving pieces of your inner child that may be left in a closet in the home you grow up with, or a bush around the corner where somebody abused you, whatever the case may be.
Right.
You need to pick up the pieces.
Mhm.
And once you do it in this life, I have found, and I did it a lot for decades and decades, then you start picking up the pieces of your past life.
Wow.
On that note, we have a piece of literature. No, I cannot read it. A piece of literature, an automatic writing session that she felt compelled to do before she came here today, which has been a few weeks after being here, or 10 days or something like that. One of the problems in automatic writing is it's hard to read even your own writing after. So she wants me to stumble here. But she has a spirit guide that she's been doing automatic writing with for a very long time, and wonder if he was you. On that note, just to throw you a tizzy. She's going to try to read it. Please bear with us on the punctuation that's not there. Actually, it's really neat. I mean, it's all on the line and everything. It shouldn't be so hard.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, hold on. Let me take that off and start again. Okay.
All right. So my spirit guide, I found out his name is Abba. And so before coming here, I thought, well, let's see if Abba has anything to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked him the question, is there anything you'd like to say about today at Marie Laveau's house? And his response was, yes. Many seek your community help. They seek closure in many things, such as misconceptions and lies told. They seek healing. They seek comfort. They seek peace. Many stay to try and do this for themselves, but they can't. They don't have enough energy and on their own. They don't have enough energy on their own to do so. So this is where you and other seers and seekers can step in and step up to help heal. And we're talking about the spirit world. We're talking about the spirits that are here at Marie Laveau's. When one is healed, then all are healed in some aspect. When one is healed, then all are elevated just a bit more as a group. Healing begets healing, and on and on and on. And the wonderful thing is that the living are also healed as the dead are healed. So would advise that you concentrate on healing in a matter which they desire and require. Find out their perspectives on healing and do that. What heals one individual may not be the same method for another that another requires. So stay alert, pay attention, meet their needs for healing, guidance, resolution. And resolution.
Turn many pages. Okay.
I found it. And resolution of inner conflicts. This they seek from the living. Resolution, comfort, peace, healing. Pay attention, listen. So,
well, Marie Laveau did physical healing as a traiteur with herbs. She did spiritual healing with prayer and ritual, right? And she they say was a devout Catholic, going to church every day. So she did specific healings with the traditional religions that she was also a part of. She did folk magic as well as healing, as well as everything. And so all the different methods are here. There was a lot of powders and gree-grees and such that she made, which I do intend on making here. And over in that Estes method, well, actually twice in a row said the same thing, which is pretty rare. It's like, it's all you have to do. That's all you have to do for some reason was be here on Fridays. Stay. Yeah. So that's when I'll do more channeling. That's when I'll sleep here. That's when I'll write down. And, I'm getting all the technical things done now, like making sure this works and just got the air conditioning fixed, thank God, because it was 85 degrees for the last 2.5, 3 weeks while I was trying to do this, just pouring down sweat. So that's a big help. Might not be such a big deal for the spirits, but it is for me.
Well, yeah, that's important.
So I definitely will listen. I will definitely read some of the channeling that we did as a group on automatic writing later on here, so they could hear that. And there I'm going to have to remember the different people's handwriting when we read it too. But it was good. It was a good channel. It was a group channel. I mean, all of us at the seance took turns writing a paragraph or so each that blended together to make an overall message that the spirits wrote through us at the time. You'll see us doing it in the video. I don't know if we video us talking and reading it. Maybe we did. If not, I will reread it because it's still in the same books. That I like to use the same books over and over. And when I do my regular seances at the Haunted Museum, which you have to come visit when you're in New Orleans and take our tours and do a ghost hunt and meet us and shop and do stuff and all that jazz. All that is part. Well, we are going to probably sign off, and on June 15th, that is Marie Laveau's feast day. And Marie Laveau was born and raised in New Orleans, a free woman of color. This was her grandmother's house originally, the original cottage here. Built, I believe it was 1798. She was born in 1801. And her grandmother owned it, and eventually at her death passed it down and to the family members. And then in 1881, 80 years later, on June 15th, Marie Laveau passed in the same house on what they said was the hottest day of the year.
Oh, goodness.
So she wants the air conditioning working, right, Marie? So she was already elderly and sick. They seemed to think for a bit of a while, and that just, pushed it over the edge, like it does for so many today,
it's deadly
in the heat. And New Orleans, if you don't know it, it's very freaking hot. And not just hot, it was like, was it not Ferris Bueller? Same guy in other movies. It's like Africa hot.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That is what we are here. Yeah. So we're very humid, very humid, very hot. And they say Marie Laveau really never left this town. People came to her from the world over. She was known as the Popess of Voodoo, psychically, gifted. But all people seem to know now is that she was a darn hairdresser, and that makes me crazy. Yeah. She was a hairdresser when she was younger, as we all did many jobs, and maybe she was really good at it.
Yeah.
But people give offerings outside since they can't leave them at the tomb anymore, and all they have is hair ties. I tried to show I've got voodoo doll, I've got some eggs, I've got roses out there in the window, and different things to show to give from the heart, not just the hair. I think people that don't understand psychic stuff, they want to just say, oh, she got all the information she knew from doing the hair. But that's not really how it works. And, maybe she learned people. She learned things. It wasn't the hair salon with everybody chatting their dirt. The hairdresser went into the homes of the very rich. She was also some kind of seamstress, they say, early on, and she helped with making shoes, I think. Oh, wow. She worked for her father in a liquor store. She did odd jobs, and she healed people and learned all of that too. And she was a very gifted psychic. She seemed to work on prison reform in her own way and always want to go pray with the prisoners. And she had a very soft heart for that, or trying to, maybe, who knows, maybe she was even trying to convert criminals to a better life. We don't really know the specifics on that. Some say that she was rather in a way, shy and didn't really speak much
Aw.
out or tell about her life a lot, very private.
Mhm.
She would have hated social media.
Mm.
She they would have bashed her on it, but she would have liked it,
Right.
But Marie Laveau had a lot of years in this house, had a lot of children in this house, and even her children's children lived and died here. So this is a multi-generational place with men. And you were speaking to one of the Maries, not the Marie, but kind of spoke as the Maries, which is what we always say.
Yeah.
Because people talk at least about Marie Laveau 2 or 3, and I say, where do you start counting? Because I believe her paternal grandmother was also, part of it. And
Oh, really? Yeah.
She was another Marie Laveau. So there are many, many Maries. Everybody is Marie, and I am Bloody Marie. Signing off. This is Bloody KJ. And you can see us in New Orleans. You can see her at the Dauphine House, B&B, dauphinehouse.com. Me at BloodyMaryNewOrleans.com or Bloody Mary New Orleans on YouTube and other stuff on Facebook and Bloody Mary Nola. And I don't know, just call us, visit us, be all over the place, whatever. And I will see you in the mirror. Bye. Bye. And